Good morning, students. Today, we would like to discuss the topic nutrition in plants. Before going to the nutrition in plants, let us know the definition of nutrition. Nutrition is the process of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body to build the body for growth, to repair the damaged parts of the body, and for energy. So nutrients are required by our body for growth purpose, repair purpose, and energy purpose. There are various modes of nutrition present in different organisms. For example, autotrophic mode of nutrition, heterotrophic mode of nutrition, and heterotrophic mode of nutrition, again saprophytic mode of nutrition, parasitic mode of nutrition, holozoic mode of nutrition. So today's our topic is nutrition in plants. In plants, the main mode of nutrition is autotrophic mode of nutrition. So what is autotrophic mode of nutrition? Autotrophic mode of nutrition is a nutrition in which organisms prepare their own food from simple inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll by a process known as photosynthesis. So this mode of nutrition is very common in green plants and green bacteria. So come to nutrition in plants. So I said in nutrition in plants, it takes place by means of autotrophic mode of nutrition, no doubt, by a process called photosynthesis. Let us discuss in detail about photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? It is a photochemical process. So photo means light, synthesis means production. Photo means light, synthesis means production. That means photosynthesis is the process in which light energy used to prepare the food material. Photosynthesis is the process in which light energy converted into a chemical form of energy. Now definition, you see, photosynthesis is the process by which plants prepare food by using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So finally, what are the products are produced in the photosynthesis means a simple carbohydrate. So you see the equation. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives rise to sunlight and chlorophyll, gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2. See once again equation, 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus 6O2. On the arrow mark, sunlight and chlorophyll. That means in the presence of sunlight, in chlorophyll. Now what are the raw materials for this equation means carbon dioxide and water. What is the product of this equation? You see C6H12O6. It is a simple carbohydrate, sugar. And what is the byproduct of this equation? Oxygen is the byproduct. That means during photosynthesis, oxygen is released. During photosynthesis, food is prepared. During photosynthesis, light energy converted into a chemical energy called carbohydrate. So photosynthesis is a very important process which is the only process which prepare food in the living, which prepare food and which transfer the sunlight energy into chemical energy. Now, this photosynthesis mainly contains three steps. The step one is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. The step two is conversion of this light energy into chemical energy. So during this process only the water molecule splits and it releases oxygen. So that process is called photolysis. What is photolysis means? The splitting of water molecule by light activated chlorophyll. The splitting of water molecule by light activated chlorophyll. So in photosynthesis oxygen released. From which it is released means from water molecule, not from carbon dioxide. So remember, water oxygen released in photosynthesis from water molecule. It's not from carbon dioxide. And come to the next step. So during this process, some amount of light energy is converted into chemical energy. And that energy is nothing but ATP and NADPH2. ATP and NADPH2. That energy used by carbon dioxide and it will convert into carbohydrate, a simple carbohydrate, namely glucose. A simple carbohydrate, namely glucose. So these are the steps. So that means we can also divide this photosynthesis process into two ways. That is light reaction and dark reaction. Light phase means the reactions which are using light energy to complete. That is called light phase and light reactions. The reactions which does not depend on light energy, they are indirectly depend on light energy. That is called dark reactions or dark phase. So here these are the two different steps in the case of photosynthesis. Okay, now come to the so you see this picture. This picture shows about that how the energy. So for photosynthesis they depend upon the solar energy, that energy using by the plant, and it also using carbon dioxide from atmosphere and water from the soil and chlorophyll present in the plant only, and it is preparing the chemical form of energy glucose and it releasing oxygen to the atmosphere. This is the overall theme of photosynthesis. Come to next picture. You see this picture. Sir, you said carbon dioxide and water, and there is a need of light and chlorophyll. Now let us know about what is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is in a green color. Previously, we discussed about what is photosynthesis, what are the different steps of photosynthesis. Now you go to the next one, transfer section of the leaf. You take a cross section of the leaf. That means you take the leaf, cut the leaf in a horizontal, transversely, and observe that section cutting under microscope. You will find out this structure. You see the structure of transverse section of leaf. It shows three parts mainly. The part one is upper epidermis, mesophyll, lower epidermis. Between the upper and lower epidermis, the tissue is called mesophyll tissue. That mesophyll tissue, you can see here, this is the mesophyll tissue. This part is totally mesophyll tissue, and this is upper epidermis, this is the lower epidermis. Between this mesophyll tissue is again divisible into two types of cells. One is palisade mesophyll. We can also call as palisade parenchyma. This is spongy mesophyll. We can also call it as spongy parenchyma. So these cells inside, you can find out a green color dots are observed. They are nothing but chloroplast. They are nothing but chloroplast. On epidermis, on the lower epidermis side, there will be a presence of a small pore-like structure. Here you can see this is the pore-like structure present on lower epidermis. This is called as stroma. This is called as stoma. This is the transverse section of the leaf itself. Along with that, these cells, the mesophyll also contains some air gaps, air spaces, and epidermal cells are covered with a thick waxy cuticle. A thick waxy cuticle. See, black color. Thick waxy cuticle. Okay. Now you see the one of the mesophyll cell, that is the palisade parenchyma cell, enlarged, and you see the cell inside there contains a round color dots called as chloroplast organelle. You see there, this is the chloroplast organelle. This is called chloroplast organelle. The chloroplast organelle inside also contains small green lines. Those green lines are nothing but chlorophyll pigments. Chlorophyll pigments. That means where the chlorophyll is present, sir? In the leaf. In the leaf again where it is present, sir? In the mesophyll cells. In mesophills again chloroplast organelle. In the chloroplast inside the chlorophyll pigment is present. You know, chlorophyll is very important for photosynthesis. It is a pigment important for photosynthesis. It is a pigment important for photosynthesis. Going to the next slide, you can see this is the structure of chloroplast. So what is the structure of chloroplast? You see, the chloroplast looks like a disc shaped. It looks like a disc shaped. The shape of the chloroplast is a disc shaped, and it is covered with two layers. See, this is called outer membrane. This is called inner membrane. Between the outer membrane and inner membrane, between the outer membrane and inner membrane, there will be a space. This space is called as intermembranal space or periplastidial space. This space is also known as periplastidial space. Now you can see the structure inside the inner membrane. Inside the inner membrane, there is a almost yellowish color here. Color is an yellowish, which is filled with aqueous fluid known as stroma. Aqueous fluid known as stroma. And this stroma contains many flat sac-like structures. You see, these are the many flat sac-like structures. These flat sac-like structures are called thylakoids. These flat sac-like structures are called thylakoids. These thylakoids, they arrange one above the other and form a stack-like. That means they can form a row. The total row we can call as granum. The stack of thylakoids are called as granum. The stack of thylakoids are called as granum. Now, one granum and another granum are connected with, see here, some thread-like structures are there. These thread-like structures are called lamellae. These thread-like structures are called lamellae. So, This is about the chloroplast structure. Now, you see photosynthesis, the total photosynthesis part we will divide into two phases. One is called light phase, another one is called dark phase. The light phase is totally takes place in thylakoids. That means the conversion of light energy into chemical energy will be takes place in thylakoids only. The conversion of light energy into chemical energy takes place in thylakoids only. And the dark phase of photosynthesis or dark reactions of photosynthesis are takes place in stroma part. In stroma part. That means the carbohydrate synthesis takes place in stroma part only. The carbohydrate synthesis takes place in stroma part only. So this is about the structure of chloroplast. Once again I am telling you, the chloroplast is disc-like, disc-shaped, and it is surrounded by the two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. Between the two membranes, the space is called intermembrane space or periplastidial space. Inside the inner membrane, the fluid content is called stroma. In the stroma, a flat sac-like structures are present called thylakoids. Thylakoids arranged in a row and form a structure called granum, which is a granum is nothing but stack of thylakoids. The stack of thylakoids or granum are one and another one connected with a flat thread-like structures called lamellae. In the thylakoids, light reactions or light phase of photosynthesis takes place. In the stroma, dark phase of the photosynthesis takes place. So this is about the structure of chloroplast. Now we are going to learn the structure of stomata and what is the importance of stomata in plant nutrition. So stomata are tiny pores present in the leaves. So previous structure I showed that the bottom of epidermis, the lower epidermis side, we are finding a small pore-like structures called stomata. Here also you can see this is the epidermal peel where the stomata are observed. So what are stomata means? These are tiny pores present in the leaves through which exchange of gases takes place. Through which exchange of gases takes place. That means entry of carbon dioxide and release of oxygen to outside the atmosphere or takes place through stomata only. Now you can observe the structure of the stomata. The stomata having two bean shaped or kidney shaped cells. See here, these are the green color bean shaped or kidney shaped cells. These are called as God cells. These are God cells. So the two bean shaped or kidney shaped cells present in the stomata are called God cells. These God cells are surrounded by a row of cells called subsidiary cells or epidermal cells. Once again I am repeating, subsidiary cells or epidermal cells. The inner lining of God cells, you see here, this is the inner lining of God cells. Inner lining of God cells. They are somewhat thickened, and this inside the white color some space is there, no, that is called stomatal pore. That is called stomatal pore. Now this is the structure of the stomata. So stomata is equal to God cells plus epidermal cells plus stomatal cavity. God cells plus epidermal cells plus stomatal cavity. The God cells are contains nucleus as well as they also contains the green dots are there, no, they also contains these green dot like structures called chloroplast. These green dot like structures called chloroplast. So now these stomata, they are open during daytime. See here, this is the daytime. The stomata are in a open condition. So that's why the pore is open, and a white color cavity, like here see pore, white color patch which is observed. When the night time, these stomata are closed. See here, there is no such cavity opening. The stomata are closed. So the stomata are open during daytime in most of the plants, and stomata are closed during night time in most of the plants. Okay, so why the stomata are open and why the stomata are closed means, because due to the water. See here, the water present in the guard cells are responsible for stomata opening and closing. When the guard cells contains water, the stomata will be open. When the guard cells lose the water, that means that water move away from the guard cells towards the epidermal cells and other cells, such a time stomata are closed. So you can remember very simply, okay, water enters the guard cells, it swells and the pore opens. And when the guard cells lose the water, it shrinks and the pore closes. So water balance is the important for opening and closing of stomata. Opening and closing of stomata. So now we will go to the learn what are the different types of factors which are affecting on photosynthesis. As I said, there are different raw materials are needed for photosynthesis. One is carbon dioxide, another one is water, chlorophyll, light, etc. So without these raw materials, there is no photosynthesis. So to prove that these raw materials are needed for the photosynthesis, the first raw material we are taken to prove, that is chlorophyll. So this is the activity used to explain chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. For this activity, you have to take the potted plant with variegated leaves. What are variegated leaf? A leaf with two different colors, that is green patches as well as the normal white color patches, then such a leaves are called as variegated leaves. Example, money plant you take or croton plants you take. So generally we are growing in our home money plants. In the edges of the money plant, that means edges means these are the edges of the money plant, we are finding almost colorless patches, and the center of the money plant leaf we are finding green color patches. That means there is a colorless zone and green color zone. Such a leaf is called variegated leaf. Or otherwise in our school near the lawn areas you will find out some plants, they are called crotons. The crotons are also best example for variegated leaf. So whatever the plant you are taken, money plant or the croton plant, take the plants and keep that plants in a dark room for 3 days. So that what happens, sir, all the starch which is present in the leaf will be used for different activities. So starch is produced through photosynthesis, which is there in the leaf. It is used by the plant for different activities. Now your leaf does not contains any starch because you are keeping the plant in a dark room. So then there is no source of the light. There is no source of the light, there is no photosynthesis. So that what happening, already present food material used by the plant for different activities. Now keep this plant in sunlight for about 6 hours. Now what you will do, keep the same plant in sunlight for about 6 hours. So whenever you are keeping the plant in sunlight, then automatically what happening, there will be a performance of photosynthesis. Now you pluck the leaf from the plant. Now you pluck the leaf from the plant. Mark the green areas in it and trace them on a sheet of paper. That means you take a paper and place the leaf and mark it where the green areas are there, and find out where the green areas and where the non-green areas, and take that leaf and dip in a boiling water and boil that leaf for about few minutes, that means 10 minutes or like that. After that you can immerse it in a beaker containing alcohol. So whenever you are immersing the leaf in a alcohol, whatever the chlorophyll is there, the total chlorophyll is dissolved in the alcohol. The total chlorophyll is dissolved in the alcohol. Now you take the same leaf and place above the beaker in a water bath and heat again, and you can observe that the total leaf will be colorless. So that means whenever you are placing the leaf in the alcohol and boiling, after that boiling, that leaf containing chlorophyll will be dissolved in alcohol, and you remove the leaf and you place on the white paper. You can observe it, it is an almost colorless. The solution is a green in color. Solution is a green in color. Now add a few drops of iodine to the leaf and you can observe it, and some parts of the leaf, see here there are some parts, these are the parts of the leaf, are blue black in color, and remaining all the different parts are colorless. So where you are getting blue black color, it indicates that the presence of starch. The presence of starch indicates that there will be a photosynthesis. That means the photosynthesis happened, starch produced, so that it is a blue black in color. And the areas which you are not finding a blue black color, there is no presence of starch. There is no presence, that means absence of starch. It indicates that that areas does not contains chlorophyll. Does not contains chlorophyll. So whenever the chlorophyll is present, there will be a light is present, there will be a performance of the photosynthesis, and the starch will be produces. So when you treat that particular leaf with the iodine, it gives blue black color. Blue black color. So if you are observing non-color zones, there is no blue black color, it indicates that there is no chlorophyll in that region, and automatically you can observe it, there is no photosynthesis. So that is about light chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis.